So I was in and out of the dental clinic quite a bit for follow-up visits and things like that. And one of the things that I noticed was there were inmate assistants in there helping the dentist. And I kind of thought to myself, that'd be an interesting job. Well, I wonder how you get that job. And so I talked to a couple of the guys who were working in there, because everybody in federal prison is required to have a job because they say it reduces recidivism, that kind of business. The problem is the jobs that they give you aren't really jobs. My job for the first couple years I was there was to walk around the compound for 1 hour each night and pick up garbage. And it was basically just go get your bucket and walk around for an hour and then give your bucket back at night. And that was my job for a couple of years. And they called it landscaping. I get called up to dental one day, and I knew it wasn't for cleaning because that doesn't happen in federal prison. And so I learned how to be a dental assistant. It was actually a really good experience, and I did it for about a year. The problem is in order to function as a competent dental assistant outside of prison, you have to have experience doing something more than pulling teeth and doing minor restorative work. Because if somebody came into the dental clinic, unless they were in pain, they didn't get attention. So if they had a big cavity that their tooth needed to be pulled, then they would get attention. If they had a big cavity that could be fixed through temporary restoration, then the dentist would usually do that too. If it needed a root canal or a crown or something like that, that's a normal thing to do outside of prison, they wouldn't get it. And the guy's like, well, can I have a root canal or something to save the tooth? No. And the problem with that is when you pull a tooth, the bone structure in your mouth starts to change. So if you don't put a bridge or a crown or something in there to hold the rest of the teeth in place, they move around. And that's why you see old people with dentures, they're like, have kind of altered bone structure in their mouth. And so it's, as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of cruel and unusual to have all of the equipment there, to have a capable person there who can do the procedure and then not do it. That was something I had a really hard time with. And it wasn't the doctor. He was a good doctor. He did what he could, but he would try. And so I totally give the dentist credit for trying, but he just didn't have the resources and he didn't have the time to do anything else. If there was another dentist on staff and there was a little more funding available, then they could have done a lot more to help people. And some of it is the result of poor oral hygiene. And some of it's just stuff that happens. Teeth go bad here and there, and sometimes you have an abscess or an infection or something, and it can be fixed with a root canal, but people in prison lose their teeth.
Meth is hard on teeth.
And meth is hard on teeth. And the other thing too is people who are in prison typically don't understand the practice of oral hygiene the way that you're really supposed to do it. That was a large part of my job, was oral hygiene instruction and explaining this is how you brush your teeth, this is how you floss, this is why you do it, this is the different types of bacteria that cause these types of problems, this is how tooth decay occurs, and all that kind of thing. And so this was all news to these guys. Some of them never understood any of this stuff, and when I get pictures and models out and show them and explain to them how tooth decay happens and why it's important for them to do certain things with their teeth, they would get it. And the thing, so a lot of them have never understood how to take care of their teeth in the first place, and so then they would show up with these problems, and people are like, well, if they didn't take care of their teeth, it's their own fault. Well, not really. When you grow up in a place where nobody ever teaches you how to do those things, it's not really your fault when stuff goes bad.